Hey guys, welcome to Star Wars on High. Thank you for stopping by. Jimmy, we are here. It is
We're here.
Kenobi Eve. We are a
Yes.
day away, moments away, because we're staying up till 2 a.m. to check this out. Guys, there is so much to be hyped about this week. If you've been tuned into the channel, we talked about our Star Wars Celebration predictions and our panels we're most excited for. We just did an amazing fan reaction to two different amazing fan productions. We had a great, amazing X-Wing fan film, and of course, this really, really exciting tribute to Ahsoka. So make sure you check out all of those videos. But now it's the big leagues. This is Super Bowl kickoff. It's Kenobi. And we wanted to spend some time in more of a relaxed setting discussing just our hopes for the show, our desires, what we're looking for, and acknowledging right off the bat that we all have expectations when we go into a new show. But these are not requirements. These do not have to be completed for the show to be successful. Just because there are things that I want to see or Jimmy wants to see does not mean they're the best things narrative-wise or they'll give us the best end product. So let's keep that in mind totally as we get started.
Yeah, because when I look at it, I've had expectations for shows before and stuff like that, but I think my problem is, aside from like overshooting expectations, sometimes I can just never get a grasp of where the story is planning to go. So I'm always surprised when it turns out that way. So most of my expectations for Kenobi are very niche, very small things. I don't know what the grand scale of everything's going to be. So I'm going to be happy with the product either way.
Yeah.
And if anything I'm expecting does not appear in the show, I'm probably still going to like it. So it's just fun to talk about what I'd like to see and what could possibly happen.
So I'm going to start off with one of the things I'm expecting to see and I'm actually hoping to see, and I'll call this air quotes, one of maybe the more controversial items. Jimmy and I actually made a long form video about this topic. I'll link if you guys haven't seen it yet, which is the likely rematch of Vader versus Obi-Wan. Or maybe not. Maybe it's teased. Maybe it's they see each other from afar. So maybe the poster where Vader's on the cliff and Obi-Wan is far away is an accurate depiction of their confrontation. But a lot of fans are on the fence about this. I'll just kind of make my case of why I'd love to see this and why it would mean a lot to me as a prequel fan. When we saw Revenge of the Sith end, where Hayden and Ewan McGregor had their heartbreaking goodbye as Anakin was, burning to death and screaming, "I hate you," and Obi-Wan, brokenhearted. I've never felt personally that we ever got the emotional conclusion to their relationship in A New Hope, and there's a reason for that. A New Hope had a much more reserved standoff between the two. References of relationship past, very tactical engagement as far as the fighting is concerned, and a willing sacrifice at the end. Kenobi kind of acknowledging that I need to do this for the good. But I want to maybe pose this to the audience, and a lot of you are probably in the same boat. I'm one of those fans who, when I first saw New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, I was very, very, very young. So when I saw Revenge of the Sith around 10, 11, I was old enough to really understand what's happening, old enough to understand what was going on. And so then I revisited the original trilogy. So think of it like this. I saw Revenge of the Sith before I ever saw A New Hope. Most fans, especially original trilogy fans or older fans, saw A New Hope, saw the whole original trilogy, and then saw the prequels. And to a lot of folks, it was jarring. It was a much different feel. Well, I'm the other way, where I saw Obi-Wan and Anakin in this Revenge of the Sith context. And then when I re-engaged with them in A New Hope, they're not exactly in the spot that I would have expected them to be based on the ending of that film. And as a lot of fans have pointed out in our videos, there's references even in that fight, or even in Return of the Jedi, where Vader says, Kenobi thought like you, when he talks to Luke about, Luke trying to turn him. He's like, yeah, Kenobi, thought like you did. That was never seen on screen. We never saw Kenobi actually make an attempt to turn Vader. Last we saw him, he cut all his limbs off and said, "You were my brother. You were the chosen one. You were supposed to rebalance the Force. I loved you." Yada yada yada. There was no, "I think there's good in you. Let me save you." So this gives us chance to see that missing piece. Obi-Wan and Anakin's, Obi-Wan trying to rectify his failure to save his brother, I think one last time before eventually, I think, understanding his fate, understanding that it's not for him to save Vader, and eventually, coming to closure there. I know that was long-winded, Jimmy. I appreciate you letting me walk through that.
You're good.
That's my most anticipated thing. They don't have to fight per se. A conflict or a confrontation could be an emotional one, a faraway one, some sort of closure for me on those two. Some more depth there, I think, would be top of my list to see. Jimmy, what are your thoughts there, first of all? And then after you wrap those up, you can go ahead and transition into what is on top of your list. What are you most excited for?
Honestly, the more I think about it, I feel like everyone is just talking about this fight. We have a whole show coming out, and a lot of the focus is on this rematch, whether or not it's a true rematch, it's a vision, if it's happening, if it's hearsay, XYZ, what have you.
Yeah.
And I think it's borderline selfish just a little bit. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have that, and I'm not saying like you particularly, Josh, are like that, because you've expressed other things you want to see in the show too. I am more looking forward just to all of the conversation that happens in show, specifically between the now Ben and Lars and Owen. And really, I want to see more of Beru. We haven't seen any of her yet. But I'm more interested in Obi-Wan's lifestyle, how he's making it, how he's just making it go by, how whatever he's doing for work, if he's just like acting like a mercenary, just doing whatever, and what's going to cause him to leave Tatooine, or if he's going to start on this new planet and then go to Tatooine. I want to know all the little in-between stuff.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if that fight happens and it's on screen, I'm going to be engrossed in it. I'm going to be in the moment. But I'm so interested in the crumbs, the little details that go between the episodes, and how he's just living his life with all of this baggage that's just kind of sitting there, and he just can't do anything about it.
It's a great point, Jimmy. It's something that we've never seen on screen of Kenobi's life, right? There's some novels that have maybe kind of discussed what he was doing in this time period, but this gives us the
Kenobi novel, by John
this gives us a chance to see it for the first time. I've heard Ewan talk about this in interviews where he intentionally in this show started to deliberately try to make the attempt to act more and sound more like Alec Guinness, try to become more of that character, make that transition from Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan to A New Hope Obi-Wan. So that will be fascinating to watch, to your point, Jimmy.
Oh, for sure.
I think overall, to respond to your point about the conflict, you're right. We spent a lot of time talking about it, and in a lot of ways, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment because there's such a focus on it. I think what's happening from a fandom perspective is we are me and a lot of other fans are huge prequel fans, and those movies mean the world to me. Revenge of the Sith in particular, and this feels, it's gonna sound silly. I might get ripped to shreds for this, but this feels like the Revenge of the Sith sequel that I never had because of those actors. Like, A New Hope feels different. Obi-Wan feels different. And Vader feels different. Rightfully so. But this is really, in theory, could be the real Revenge of the Sith sequel with the two actors that I grew up with and fell in love with, and Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. And that's why I think I, in particular, am making such a focus on this conflict, because I'm like, I have been waiting for this since 2000, and what year did it come out? 2009? What year did this movie come out?
2005 was Revenge of the Sith.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm here.
I've been waiting for it since that moment. And you might say, Josh, that's called A New Hope. It's been around longer. You get the sequel right there. But not with those actors, not with those. There's so much they can do here that I think will enhance A New Hope and will enhance Revenge of the Sith. I'm not saying it will be executed well enough. That's not what we're saying. But that's my hope. That's my ultimate hope, is I get to see that played out. But great points, Jimmy. I love your perspective on what you want to see from Kenobi.
Oh yeah, just because, you know, like the little 20-second clip we got of him talking with Owen, you know, just that first line, the way it goes into the scene, which I love. It's just that classic. Here's a sneak peek mid conversation. They pull that off so well every time. But it just says, "There's more to life than your farm, Owen." He has to see that there's a whole galaxy out there. Just like that line alone, I'm like, yes, I'm invested in this conversation now. And I think it's because, you know, I think we all kind of transitioned back to like when we were kids. You know, when we watched Star Wars, I'd be like, all right, when's the lightsaber fight happening? That's what I was there for. As I'm getting older now and I'm understanding everything that's at stake, I am so much more invested in the dialogue and everything that's happening now, because I'm older now to, one, enjoy the lightsaber fights like I'm a 5-year-old again. I'm always going to do that. But I can actually appreciate every part of the movie and show and book on the same level, because I am now at an age where I can comprehend everything that's going on. Like, you know, I grow up watching Phantom Menace at A New Hope at the age of 5. You're not understanding everything they're saying. And as you get older, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about. Yep. Yeah. So it's cool to see that. So now, you know, we get the first time I'm seeing Ewan McGregor since, Revenge of the Sith, which at the time, you know, I didn't understand everything that they were saying. Now, as an adult, I can watch this whole show, understand the stakes. I know all the backstory. I am prepped and ready to go into this like it's a final exam.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. My next topic on here, I think we transition well into this. It's a limited series. It's a mini series, some might say, 6 episodes. We don't know episode length yet. Are you in any way apprehensive or concerned about the 6 episode length?
Nope. Okay. I know everyone's like, it needs to be over an hour. It doesn't need to be anything. You should be thankful we're getting it at all.
I think execution's key, right?
If you can tell the story in 20 minutes,
there you go.
Great. If you can do it in 40 minutes, great. I'm just happy to be getting more of it. And I know, because the original idea was for Kenobi to be a movie.
Yep.
And then they're like, we're going to do a show instead. And everyone was like, why? A movie would be better. Well, if they're hour-long episodes, that's 6 hours of Kenobi versus the 2 to 2.5, you know?
They'll likely be 40 minutes, I think, is my guess.
I think they'll be between 30, 40, maybe a 54-minute one in there. You know, I'm going to call it right now that I think the first episode is probably going to be about... I think I would not be surprised if the first episode was like 70 minutes and the second episode's 37. Because they're random like that. And I don't think that's a problem. Everyone, I see the meme all the time, like with the Bad Batch episodes and the Boba Fett episodes. It was each episode that came out was kept getting shorter by a few minutes. And it was that picture of Obi-Wan in the elevator going, stop, we need to be going up.
Yeah.
Like, no, they don't need to be longer. They need to be able to tell the story as it's meant to be told.
Yeah, it's all about execution, because I'll go to Moon Knight, a recent Disney Plus show that had very few episodes. Thought Moon Knight was really, really good. I felt, though, that there was a very quick resolution, and it felt like there could have been 30 more minutes of storytelling woven in there at some point. How exactly I would have added it, I don't know. But that's, I think, the feeling audience members don't like, is when, like, okay, we're just putting a bow on it. Like, you were building up such good tension, and all of a sudden it's just done. So that's my only, would be my only apprehension of six episodes.
And I really think we're going to get a bow on the end of this. You know, I know there's that quote from Ewan saying he would do a season 2, but I'm pretty sure that quote reads as, I had so much fun doing this, I would do a second season because I had so much fun doing the first one. But we're not getting a season 2.
I don't think so either.
Now, if I'm wrong, I'll be happy. If we don't get a second season, I'll be happy, because I still have the Kenobi show.
You run that risk, though, to your point, Jim. I talked about this in our video earlier this week, where a second season you might begin to dilute, because you have to find new plot points. Like, what's Kenobi doing now? It's like less might be more in this case. To your point, 6 episodes might be all we need to see.
Everyone says that he has to stay on Tatooine. No, he doesn't. Obviously, he's not doing that in this show, but I think it's the point of him leaving, realizing, I can't leave. I need to stay here and watch after Luke. So you want a second season of him staying on Tatooine. Everyone's tired of Tatooine. since we've seen it so much in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett now. Obviously, there's nowhere else for Kenobi to take place, but that point still stands. You know, you're gonna get tired of desert in every new show that comes out.
The only thought I could have for a second season is if at the end of this first season, he finds himself in a situation where he needs to find some sort of guidance. So let me just play this out. And this might sound ridiculous, but I'm just thinking how. So at the end of the season, he'd have to say, okay, to keep Luke safe, to train Luke properly, I need to reconvene with Qui-Gon Jinn for guidance. So I need to find Yoda and ask him, you know, questions about the Force I never knew. I'm just throwing things out here. Like, that's what it would have to be that. Like, Kenobi needs to go on a journey to further, like, complete his growth as a Jedi to be there for Luke. It would have to be something like that. I don't know how else they could do it. Because they couldn't just be like, some Inquisitors come, he kills them, has a confrontation with Vader, season wraps up, and it's like, he does the whole thing again. More Inquisitors come, he kills them. Like, you couldn't do that. So it would have to be Obi-Wan doing, like, a quest. The quest to find Force Ghosts.
I think we'll probably get that anyway, because that's one thing that I'm really hoping we see is Qui-Gon. I want to see that so bad.
Like, Kenobi season 2, how to be a Force Ghost. It could be him learning how to be a Force Ghost.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things. Like, you know, like I said it before. I said it earlier. I'm going to be a hypocrite here. You know, if I don't get a conversation with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's Force Ghost or Force apparition, whatever they want to call it, I will be upset. It won't ruin the show, but like, I just want it so bad.
Yeah, I get it. We all have those moments we want. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Clone Wars flashback is high on people's list.
There's a lot of talk that that's going to be the opening scene of episode 1.
And I would love that, by the way. I was thinking about that like months back. I was like, you know, it'd be a dope opening if it opened up just like on a flashback of like them in the field fighting side by side. And then it like jolts to Kenobi like waking up. Like that was like a dream or a memory he had. I was like, that'd be great.
I really think it's going to start with him waking from a nightmare.
That would be kind of dope. Also, I think Ahsoka show is very likely to show us that.
I think so too.
I think if we don't see it here, we're gonna get that in Ahsoka. A lot of people have talked about any sort of major cameos. I'm really not as concerned. We've become very cameo. Like, I love cameos. We talked about when we wanted to see Qui-Gon Jinn. I expect to see our good friend, Mr. Cad Bane. I think he's all but confirmed in there. I don't know why they showed that picture
in there. So
that picture was so obviously Cad Bane, it wasn't even funny. They were like, "Oh, who's like? It's him."
That's another thing. Watch it not be Cad Bane, and everyone's like, "But it was supposed to be."
It's Gary Banya. It's like this,
Gary Busey. That's what I said.
It's this discount knockoff green Cad Bane. No, jokes aside, you know, for me, I think I've seen a lot of conversation about the Inquisitor's role in the film and if it's going to be sinister enough, if it's going to be threatening enough. I've heard some folks speculate Kenobi is not going to get enough time in his own show. I think so. A lot of fans after Book of Boba Fett have, and maybe rightfully so, been like, you took 2 episodes and made them completely Boba Fett, like completely Mandalorian focused. Like, what was that about? And I think that might have been fair. Like, yeah, it did feel kind of weird. Like, I loved it. I think episode 5 is the best episode of any Star Wars show we've ever gotten. Not animated, just live action. And so are we gonna see that in Kenobi? Is there gonna be an episode or 2 where we barely see Kenobi? It's gonna sound really silly, but that won't bother me as much in Kenobi as it did for Book of Boba Fett. Simply because I don't want them to bloat like what Kenobi's doing to where it feels like I was like 40 minutes of Kenobi walking here and 40 minutes of Kenobi walking here. It's like, you know, in reality, there's probably going to be very few things for Kenobi to do in the show. There's probably going to be several harrowing escapes, eventual landing on Tatooine, possible confrontations between family members and him trying to figure out what he needs to be for Luke, right? You know, so if there's focus on the Inquisitors and what they're doing, I actually might enjoy seeing that. You know, I'm a big dark side user fan, so I'd love some more insight into their order. So
definitely agree.
As we come down to our final thoughts here, Jimmy, I think it's really important for us to all remember, me included, that we don't the whole show is not written in 2 episodes, meaning if there's things that initially we feel missing or we feel like, where are they going with this? I highly encourage all of us to remember to wait till the end and see the full vision. And that could be good or bad. Because Game of Thrones waited to the end, and it was certainly not what we wanted.
Rough.
But if you asked someone after the first 4 seasons, they would have told you it was the best show of all time. And there was no way it was gonna ever be, brought down. And things can quickly change. So let's not forget as we watch those first 2 episodes that it is just that. It is the first 2 parts of 6. And let's keep our heads up. We're positive guys here, so I'm going to keep my chin up and be excited. I got to be honest with you. I really don't know what to expect. If you said, Josh, map out the plot. Is he going to start on Tatooine? Is he on the new planet? I'm like, honestly, I could make like a good argument like 3 different ways. And so that actually has me pretty excited. I don't feel like I know what to expect Friday. Yeah. I don't know. And I think that's going to be a great place for us to be as fans. Ready to be surprised.
I agree.
Jimmy, any closing thoughts outside of one more thing? I want to pass this to you, Jimmy. The new Kenobi theme. There's a new Kenobi theme.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be so hype.
Our good friend on Twitter, Blue Milk Mama, has been asking for the theme early. She has been campaigning to get it early because they've done that a lot. I think they put the Boba Fett theme out early, I think, didn't they?
I think they did. The Batman.
The Batman theme came out early. I believe they did something for the Bad Batch early. I might be lying. But I don't know. It's a constant trend of like, hey, you want the opening theme? Here you go.
That's wet your palate.
And I mean, sometimes they do it like the day before. Sometimes they do it a week before. She's been asking for it constantly. I'm excited to see it. Written by John Williams, and he was rushed to do it. He did it in, 2 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
Which, let me tell you, as I majored in music, that is a task. No matter how, it could be a minute long. It's going to take, 2 weeks to do that would be rough.
For this kind of legacy.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that would be 2 weeks to write and record. Unheard of, but if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be the John Williams.
The GOAT.
Especially at his age. He's in his 90s.
Wild, man. Jimmy, anything else you want to call out here? Any other thing that's on your mind related to Kenobi before we're hours away now, man? We are so close. We can almost taste it.
I think it is just important now more than ever that everyone needs to understand that after these first 2 episodes, if you're not feeling it, 4 more episodes. Okay? Do not give up hope after watching the first episode and realizing that nothing's happening. It is meant to be drawn out over 6 episodes. Let it brew, let it simmer, and we'll see where it goes.
Let's do it, Jimmy. I'm so excited. I'm so happy.
I am ready.
I got to be honest with you. I got the Kenobi disc plate back there. I've already pre-ordered the Kenobi Black series saber. I've ordered the Darth Vader helmet from Kenobi. So I am definitely hyped. But I got to be honest with you. If Kenobi doesn't blow me away, if it's not the best thing ever, it doesn't end Star Wars for me.
It does not.
I'm still going to be super hyped for Bad Batch Season 2. I'm still going to be there for Ahsoka. I'm still going to be there for Acolyte. I'm still going to be there for Tales of the Jedi. Like, I love this world, and there are projects within it that didn't work for me. The sequel trilogy, I love The Force Awakens. I don't like any of the movies after that. But, golly, there's been more stuff since then that have just blown my mind. Rogue One, Solo, like, this is just awesome stuff. And so even if Kenobi, one of my most anticipated pop culture projects of all time, of any media ever, if it doesn't deliver, the book's not written, the story's not over, there can still be some amazing projects in the future, and I might be disappointed. I might make a video saying, hey, I was disappointed in Kenobi. Here's what I wish they would have done different. But that doesn't mean when I'm not going to be day one hype man for the next project. Call me a sucker.
We're going to change from Star Wars on High to Digimon on High.
Call me a sucker. Call me a sap. I know some fans are like, hey,
you're a shill.
Some fans out there are like, hey, once Disney's disappointed me enough, I'm not going to trust them anymore. And that's fine. You're allowed to feel that way. But for me, I just have way more fun like this, man. I have way more fun sitting here, staying up all night, recording videos, talking to you guys about why I'm excited for something than just expecting to be disappointed every week. It's just more fun. And maybe that's all personal preference. But for me, it's just more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for being here, supporting the channel over a year now. We've grown so much over the last couple months thanks to you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you tell us what you're excited for with Kenobi. It's going to be an awesome weekend. It's going to be an awesome next couple weeks. We're excited to go on this journey with you. We look forward to talking with you guys. See you guys again very soon.